Last week in aviation, Boeing is in hot water again. There's a new coalition to stop fake parts from floating around, and history was made in China. We got a lot to talk about, so let's get started.
Hi, I'm Micah, and I'm a commercial aviation enthusiast who loves talking planes. And in this show, we talk about what happened in the commercial aviation industry this past week. Buckle your seatbelts, it's going to be a bumpy ride. Let's get started.
Good Monday morning to you. It's a perfect time to talk aviation, and if you're back with us, we appreciate you. If you're a first timer, we appreciate you too. Let's get started talking about some of this aviation, and what's a better way to start off this Monday morning than talk about Boeing and the dumpster fire that it is. So this last week, we had the FAA come out with a report slamming Boeing's safety culture as inadequate and confusing. So I read the report, and I wrote up a little bit of a synopsis, so I'm going to read that to you of what the report was. So pretty much a panel of experts was assembled by the FAA, and it stated that the manufacturer had ineffective procedures and overall disconnect of communication between the senior management and other staff members. Stability and rigid procedures are crucial to the structure of a company, and considering that aspect, the report concluded that the changes in the complex procedures and training led to overall confusion. The lack of needed elements negatively affected the employees' understanding of their position in Boeing's company structure, particularly considering their responsibility regarding safety. Now, all that to be said, pretty much what it sounds like is a lot of people. I didn't know I was supposed to have those safety checks. Now, whether that's people covering their own self or whatever that case may be, who knows? Either way, it's not a good light of a report. And the FAA has given them 90 days to start a corrective course, or else there will be disciplinary actions. And now there's a whistleblower out there saying that they raised the alarm about the MAX aircraft all along, and all of their pleas were ignored, and all the safety concerns were blown past. So again, we're asking ourselves at the end of this week, is this likely the end of the CEO, David Calhoun, or is he almost out as Boeing's CEO in the head there? His tenure with Boeing actually started with the aftermath of the MAX 8 disasters, only to see delays in orders, including the new Air Force One, problems with certifications like the MAX 7. Has also led to some of these problems. So, really and truly, a lot of the failures of the MAX program are not on him, but with the recent MAX 9 issue with the door plug coming open, with that reputation from the MAX aircraft, from the delays in production, and with the delays in certification, it just doesn't look very good for him. So, yeah, again, we in this week and go into a new week saying we will see what the news is next week. Next up, we have a coalition that was started to stop phony parts from floating around out there. That's right. There's a new group out there called the Aviation Supply Chain Integrity Coalition. And I'm not even going to, I guess, the ASCIC. I don't know if they're going to do an acronym for that, but hey,
This coalition includes Airbus, Boeing, and GE.
it was launched on Tuesday this past week and would include senior representatives from American Airlines, Delta, Safran, Standard Aero, and United Airlines. So, through this coalition, they plan to have lasting solutions that the industry can adopt and improve for the overall integrity, said John Porcari. And he is a former transportation deputy secretary. And so he's going to also be a co chair with the former National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB's chairman, Robert Sumwalt. So they're going to be serving as co chairs. And all this comes about after a report was shown that there was a large number of faulty parts that had been sold from a British distributor at one point. So there is a likelihood that some of the parts that are floating around and are on our aircraft right now may be from faulty means or don't have good paperwork, fake certifications, that sort of thing. So they're finding that more and more. So hopefully this coalition can crack down on that for more legitimate parts. History also took place when the world's first intercity air taxi flight by eVTOL took place. The German-Chinese electric vertical takeoff and landing startup Autoflight completed the world's first electric air taxi demonstration between two cities. The flight went from Shenzhen over to Zhuhai in China's Guangdong province on the 27th of February here. So Autoflight's Prosperity eVTOL, which can accommodate one pilot with four passengers, was used for the flight, and it went about 31 miles, went from one harbor over to the other, and the Pearl River Delta essentially separates the two cities. The flight rapidly reduced the travel time between both cities and completed the journey from one ferry port to the other ferry port in about 20 minutes. This operation was the first world use of a VTOL to fly between two cities and also across a large body of water. Sometimes the travel time between these two cities is about 3 hours. So, 3 hours to just 20 minutes. We will see if VTOL air taxis start to literally take off. And last up, a Delta pilot has a grand send off into retirement. So, most pilots, whenever they go into retirement, have a water cannon salute where the fire trucks pull onto the ramp and the plane goes through while the water is going over the plane, which is fantastic. But this pilot is taking it one step further. Captain Rosencrantz of Delta, who was there for 33 years, celebrated his retirement by chartering an entire Airbus A330-900 Neo and decided to take a trip out to Hawaii with friends and family. He started in Dallas, made it to Los Angeles, and then over to Hawaii. So apparently, there was about 100 friends and family on board as well. That sounds like one heck of a party. Could you imagine having 100 people on an Airbus A330-900 Neo? And let me let you know, it is a nice big aircraft that could more than accommodate 100 people. So that must have been a heck of a party. I also kind of don't want to know the cost. I know Delta did not give that to him for free. If they did, that's amazing, but I don't think that was. But hopefully he got that nice seniority and employee discount. But either way, Captain Rosencrantz, happy retirement, my friend. Cheers.
And that wraps up this last week in aviation. Join us again next week for what happens this week in aviation. See you guys then. Thanks so much.